All right, let's open up a case file that honestly reads more like a science fiction script than a police report. Now, this isn't just about rumors or spooky stories. We're going to do a deep forensic dive into a disappearance that seems to break the laws of physics. We're going to look at the hard, physical evidence that just, well, it doesn't make any sense. The entire investigation really boils down to this one central question. It's that classic locked room mystery, but this one has a bizarre tech-heavy twist that just throws every logical explanation right out the window. How does someone just disappear from a place that's completely sealed? So, our focus here is going to be strictly on the facts. We're talking forensics, surveillance footage, the actual items left behind at the scene. We're pushing all the speculation to the side to look at the cold, hard data that left investigators completely and utterly stumped.
Okay, let's start at the beginning with the initial findings. Because right away, investigators ran into two pieces of core evidence that told two completely different and totally impossible stories.
And this is where things get really weird. On one hand, you have surveillance footage. Experts confirmed it was authentic, no digital tampering. But it had this bizarre timestamp glitch that nobody could explain. Then you have her diary. Handwriting analysis, a perfect match. It was definitely her. But the ink on the final entry, well, chemical analysis showed it was impossibly fresh, like it had been written after she was already gone. And here's the crucial part. All the easy answers were ruled out. This wasn't a clever hoax, it wasn't a forgery, and it wasn't some tech failure they could identify. The experts basically handed the police a report that said, look, we don't get it either, but both of these impossible things are true. And that's when this investigation took a very, very strange turn.
So the police are at this total dead end, right? They've got a paradox on their hands. So they decided, okay, let's gather our own data. They set up their own controlled experiment to see if they could actually capture whatever was going on in real time. The setup was pretty straightforward, very scientific. They rigged the now empty bedroom with their own state-of-the-art cameras. For 2 full nights, absolutely nothing. The room was quiet, empty, perfectly normal. But on the third night, they caught something on tape that took this case from a weird mystery to something else entirely. The official log of what happened is just chillingly precise. At exactly 3:17 a.m. and 0 seconds, there's a flicker of light. Just 1 second later, a faint silhouette starts to form near the bed. The very next second, the shape actually seems to turn, as if it's looking right at the camera. And then, at 3:17 and 3 seconds, the feed goes dead. Total signal loss. So what happened right after those cameras died? Well, the officers on site, they didn't waste any time. They went in. Immediately. They burst into the room and found it exactly as it had been, locked, silent, and totally empty. No one was there. No signs of a break-in, no obvious technical malfunction with the gear, except for one thing. One new piece of physical evidence that definitely was not there when they sealed the room. Right there on the bed, her diary was lying open, and on the page was a single, brand new sentence written in that same confirmed handwriting. She's not alone anymore. And here it is. This is the detail that just blows the whole case wide open. This new sentence was written on a page that physically did not exist in the diary when the police started their experiment. A whole new page with fresh ink had somehow appeared out of nowhere. So, faced with evidence that was physically impossible and an event they captured on their own cameras, what did the authorities do? They shut down the investigation. The case was officially closed, sealed, and no public explanation was ever offered. But that's not quite where the story ends. Even though the official file is closed, the case has kind of developed this weird life of its own over the years, made up of these unverified but weirdly persistent reports. So years go by, and new residents in the house start reporting things. The bedroom light, they say, will switch on by itself, always at 3:17 a.m. Sometimes they'll catch a glimpse of a shadow near the bed, just out of the corner of their eye. And then much more recently, the story got a digital update. An anonymous post popped up online with a blurry picture of the room. And the caption, it just adds this modern layer of creepiness to the whole thing. It read, "She's still here, watching." And that's the end of the file. That's everything we know. We're left with this collection of facts that simply refuse to fit together. You've got expert testimony, you have police surveillance, you have tangible physical evidence, and it all points to a conclusion that just shouldn't be possible. So it leaves us with the ultimate question. When the evidence itself is a paradox, what in the world is the truth?